To get started on your Tim Burton inspired self-portraits, check out the worksheets at your desk. There will be so many different examples on how to do different head shapes, eye shapes, nose shapes, mouth shapes, and value. To get started, you're going to use a pencil and start with the head shape. There's several different diagrams on how to do your head shape, so you can think about how your head looks or just pick a head shape as you wish. I'm picking the shape that has a more chiseled jaw and a more rounded head. You're going to use a pencil and lightly sketch out some of these shapes. The eyes are going to be very large and exaggerated. The nose is very thin and elongated, and the mouth is very small. The neck is also very narrow and elongated. And don't forget to add a very simple hairstyle. If you have some extra time today, you can also add a frame. When you're done drawing your face, trace it with a Sharpie. After you're done tracing with the Sharpie, it's now time to add value. Value is the lightness or darkness of a color or hue. So push the value with your pencil. So you're going to press harder and make a darker value in some areas. Think about where the light source is hitting your self-portrait and where some areas would have a highlight, which would be a lighter value, and where some areas would have a shadow or a darker value. In the areas that have the shadows and the darker values, you're going to make them darker by pressing a little bit harder with your pencil, or you could even use a black crayon in these areas or a black oil pastel. If you do use any oil pastels, you can smudge them with your finger and create a gradient as well. I'm using a white oil pastel to show the highlights. I'm using it inside the eyes because that will be the whitest area, the lightest area of my whole portrait. And then also think about where the light source is hitting your portrait, if it's hitting the top of your head, if it's hitting the side of your head, if it's hitting the top of your nose. Also, you can add highlights to your frame as well. When you're done adding some of these things with the oil pastels, the highlights, the midtones, and the dark values, you can take your finger and smudge them, and that will create the gradient, and that will also give your self-portrait the mood that you might see in some of Tim Burton's movies. Don't forget with a Sharpie to write your name in the bottom corner of your paper. And if you have some extra time, add some more details. I'm in that spooky Halloween mood, so I'm adding some spider webs, some spiders, some pumpkins, and then I'm also adding different patterns in my picture frame. All of those things you can add in yours as well.